Hello there, and welcome to this week's edition of Cityline. With me right now, I have one of my favorite alma maters. Yep, I'm talking about Metro Parks. And Metro Parks is here to talk about their ski club. How many of you had ski club in high school or junior high? For many of us, and I was one of them, I would have never learned how to ski if it was not for my local parks department partnering with local schools. So please join me in welcoming Kyle Clogston. You are the recreation coordinator of this amazing programs for Metro Parks. Kyle, welcome to Cityline.
Hello, Amanda.
And you brought with you James Neal. What a great name. James Neal, you are the Director of Athletics and Activities for our beloved Tacoma Public Schools. Thank you for being here today, James.
Good morning. Thank you.
Good morning. And then with us outside, enjoying the sunshine, this is a woman who knows about weather and when to get outside. Marlie Corona, you are the Seattle program lead for the SOS Outreach, which we're going to find out what that means here in just a second. Marlie, welcome to Cityline.
Hi, thank you.
You're more than welcome, my dear. So Kyle, we heard through the rumor mill that you get to take 80. I want all the parents to hear that number. Tacoma middle school students skiing and snowboarding at Snoqualmie Central every week this winter. So what's that program? What's your role in it? And oh my goodness, could you have a better job than that?
And hard pressed to find a better one, actually.
Yep.
Yeah. We take 80 students, 40 from Hunt Middle School, and then 40 from Hilltop Heritage Middle School up to the mountain once a week, every week for 5 weeks in partnership with SOS Outreach, and then also Tacoma Public Schools. So Metro Parks and those two organizations are how we're pulling off this program. And what I think is really cool is it's a pay-as-you-choose program. And so parents can pay anywhere from $0 to $200 for the program. $200 kind of covers a student that could not afford as much. And the goal is just getting everyone up on the mountain. We have Tacoma Public Schools providing meals for us. We have SOS Outreach providing all instruction on the mountain with volunteers and all gear and lift tickets. And then Metro Parks is providing bus transportation up to the mountain and chaperones on the bus. So pretty neat.
This is an amazing program. And I sit here, I'm dating myself. Here we go. When I was in high school and junior high, and I'm going to be very transparent, the families that had the resources could afford to send their kids even on the ski bus going up to White Pass. It was a very expensive endeavor, and therefore not everybody could participate. My heart is soaring to hear that cost is not an issue. If you want to learn one of the great pastimes of a ski slope, snowboarding or skiing. So, wow, this is so impressive. James, skiing and snowboarding, even present, not 30 years ago or 40 years ago when I was doing it, are pretty popular winter sports in the Pacific Northwest. What makes this program so special?
Well, I think we're pretty excited to be in partnership as we have been in the past with Metro Parks and other partners, and we continue to build those partnerships. As you stated, the outdoor activities tend to be a little more expensive for us to access. When we live in an urban area, we've got to travel to those spaces, and then we've got to figure out and navigate systems of equipment and access to properties, whether it be hiking in national parks and gaining access, or in this case, getting on the slopes, right? And knowing that there's got to be lift passes, there's got to be skis. So, one of the things that my office has consistently done, and a mission that I have stapled on my office, is systemic equitable access, right? And that is athletics and activities in the schools, right? And when we do athletics at middle school and high school, but then clubs, right? Clubs in our schools, and now our partnerships that have extended to Metro Parks and programs like Marlie's. And so again, how do we get our kids from all walks of life to access and experience some of the same things that people who are privileged have had for years.
Absolutely. That should be a campaign speech right there. That is incredible. James, if you ever want to run for office, you've got your speech. There it is. It touched all of our hearts. Marlie, as you sit there in that ski hat of yours with a little pom-pom on top, tell us, we've heard the phrase, and now it's time to fess up. What is SOS Outreach, and how does it support that equity piece that James just mentioned?
Yeah, well, like James was saying, it's all about access. SOS Outreach started over 26 years ago in Vail, Colorado. Main project was to get kids on the slopes that might not otherwise have access to the slopes. Since then, we've expanded to 9 states, 15 communities, and serve over 80,000 kids a year from all different societal and economic backgrounds. Our main goal is to try to help create these outdoor spaces that are welcoming to everyone and give every child the opportunity to try a new sport, connect with the outdoors, and feel a sense of belonging in this community that they're helping to create.
And it goes, and I know that you feel this, as all three of you do, it goes beyond just technically learning how to do something. These are life skills. These are character building skills. These are I belong and I can do this type skills, which go beyond skiing and snowboarding. So Kyle, for our parents who are listening out there, and also for our students who perhaps want to participate, describe how the ski club actually works. What happens each week, Kyle, after the bell rings for the end of class?
So we meet the students in the cafeteria of the school right at the bell at 2:45. They check in with us. They get their SAC dinner from the school. We make sure everyone's there. We kind of just do a quick meet and greet, and then it's off to the bus. So they all load up on the bus. I follow in a support vehicle. We drive up to the Summit Central ski area and unload from there. And Marlie's waiting for us up there with all the volunteer instructors with SOS, and they break into their groups. They can show up in just their street clothes, like just their normal school clothes. And SOS has all kinds of coats and ski pants and everything up there, goggles, helmets, gloves, everything. They go to rentals, they get their skis or snowboards, fit their boots, and then break into their small groups with their volunteer instructors. At that point, they have a word of the day they go over. So like wisdom or compassion, different words of the day to talk about how they can relate that on the mountain and real life, kind of bond with their instructor. And then they head to the slopes. The first day, they're on kind of the bunny hill, getting the basics down, and then by day 2, 3, 4, and 5, they're on the ski lifts. They're learning how to get on a ski lift, which is sometimes a challenge. And then we have kids now. This is week 5 from our first session here, and we have kids on blues now skiing, and possibly a few on black diamond. So it's really neat. At the end of the day, they circle back up, talk about how they use their word of the day, how they use compassion or discipline or whatever their word of the day is that day with SOS, and then unload ski gear, and then it's back down on the bus, and we're back at the school around 10 p.m. each night, where their parents or guardians pick them up. So.
Wow, you guys don't miss a beat with this program. I mean, there's the character building right there, Marlie, with that word. Marlie, I have a question for you that we've not talked about, but I'm sure you can answer this. Do students ever come up with their own word in those groups?
Yeah, I mean, they come up with their own exciting thing that happened that day and kind of relate it back to new words. And I mean, the core values that we talk about, they all have different ways of defining them and relating them to their own personal lives and their peers and family. So we get all different definitions and interpretations of how they're growing.
And what an amazing experience to come together, perhaps as people who see each other in the hallways, but don't maybe really know each other. And then after that session is over, I'm sure that there are people who become fast friends for life. James, when we think about what's so important about kids learning these sporting and life skills, why is it important that they learn these outdoors? I mean, you can read a book about character building and not have to get wet and cold about it.
Yeah, I'm a lifelong outdoorsman, so I've experienced the elements. I think the elements add a separate section of like grit in life. As a young physical educator 20 years ago, I started a program at my elementary school getting kids out to outdoor education camps such as Camp Seymour. And as a school administrator in Tacoma, brought every school that I worked at to Camp Seymour or similar camp for the 5th grade camp experience. And again, getting kids away from the school setting with another caring adult is a big part of what we believe is a social emotional support for our kids. And that comes back to athletics and activities too, right? I mean, we're talking about putting kids in an extended day with another caring adult in their life. And I think back into my own experience on a ski bus and the relationships built between classmates and chaperones who were on those just on the bus, right? The hour-long bus ride. And later in college, becoming a chaperone on a ski bus for middle school kids. So I see the benefits firsthand, both as my own experience and now as an administrator, and think that they're pretty vital. Obviously, the outdoor education gives kids a broader view of bringing some understanding of the importance of the outdoors, right? And being an environmentalist in our everyday work and understanding the importance of picking up trash and recognizing the differences between 2 types of birds and 2 types of trees, just in our everyday life, and how that makes us a more rounded person as well.
You know, and those things you've said, those are not things that perhaps we can just step outside in our backyard like Marlie and learn about. I mean, there's a certain leveling agent when everybody falls on the rope toe. No matter how cool you are, what kind of sneakers you wear in 5th period, we're all reduced down to get back up and try again. And that is a lesson in life that's priceless. Kyle, how can our Tacoma community support these programs?
Well, one way they can support is we have a donation bin right now at our headquarter office off 19th Street, where you can donate lightly used or new ski gear for youth. So anywhere from coats and jackets, ski pants. We love new ski socks is a big one that we didn't have a lot of this year. So anything like that can be donated to the bin right inside our headquarters there. And that's one way to support us.
I love that. What's the future for the ski club, Mr. Kyle? When we think about kids growing up, kids outgrowing skiing, kids wanting to go on their own, and let's just also talk about global warming. I mean, yesterday it hailed and snowed and the sunshine was out. So how's that for a loaded question?
That is a little bit of a loaded question. Well, I think as far as the future of the program, we in the past ran a very small program with the SOS with 14 students up there, and now we actually just got another group that we're going to go up starting in March. So because we had a large waiting list, so we're going to have actually a total of 120 students up there this year. So growing the program, getting more students involved out there, and I think showing them, if you want to relate it back to global warming, showing them that how special these places are to get up in the mountains and ski, and hopefully that reflects back on their lives at home and steps they can take to reduce emissions or anything they can do to. So we have our winners for a long time to come. So.
I love that. Okay, question for all 3 of you, since our time is quickly coming to an end. And let's start with you, Marlie, first. What's the most rewarding thing about what you do?
Just really getting to connect with these kids and watch them grow, like literally blossom before my eyes. They all push themselves and each other in such amazing, inspirational ways. And it's really heartwarming, as cheesy as it sounds.
It doesn't sound cheesy. It sounds like something I would love to see. James, you've been at this for a while, and the most rewarding thing may have changed for you when you were seeing just the beginnings of this program, but what is it for you today that keeps you going in this program?
Well, I think for me, it ends up being the connections that I still have across the school district, but now it's more so seeing the success of adults in the development of their programs, right? I mean, obviously for me, I get to see the success of our students. Even most recently, Tacoma has a state championship diver and 2 state championship wrestlers. But those connections to those kids are few and far between, but it's the adults that work with them and seeing the success from their work. I would say a shameless plug for what we do in Tacoma is, we're continually looking for partners and programs like what Marlie does in other areas of outdoor education. So as people see this and know that they have an interest, whether it be within some sort of fishing club that they're a participant, a hiking group, backpacking, snowshoeing, those types of things, we want to continue to expand these programs. And we need partners who are willing and ready and able to do that, some in a volunteer sense, or to go get hungry and go after grants to help support the work.
Well said, my friend. Well said. Kyle, you get the last word. What is still the most rewarding thing about what you do?
I think it's the aha moment. I really like sometimes the day one up at, let's say, up at the ski area, students are struggling with, getting their boots on. It's cold, it's wet, and it's like, I don't want to do this attitude. But then all of a sudden they start getting their turn down, and it's that aha moment where it's like, well, I want to keep doing this. This is amazing. And whether that be with skiing or, we run kayaking programs with the Tacoma schools. We do lots of other opportunities for kids to get outside. So it's that aha moment. And then also just the joy of being outside and learning a new skill. I think it's fantastic.
Yes. I want to say thank you to all 3 of you and the organizations that you represent for providing the priceless gift of I can do it to these children, because that is a gift that goes on forever in your life. And what a wonderful opportunity for them to learn this early on, because it gets much easier early on to learn these things than to reprogram yourself when you're 60. So thank you so much for bringing such joy and such epiphany to these group of children. And want to have you back on soon. I'd love to have one of your students on to talk about what their perceptions were before, during, and after. So all 3 of you, thank you again for being here today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Amanda.
Thanks, Amanda.